All right, welcome back, Watt family, to the Watt Hustle channel where we ride, we hustle, we repeat. Today, I have a special guest, someone that I firmly believe that my channel kind of mirrors his channel because him and I are about the same age. We have the same passion for e-bikes. And his channel was one of the first channels that I actually found when I got into looking to start and doing some additional content with e-bikes. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to Chris from the Crisscross e-bike channel. Chris, tell us who you are and what you're about.
What's good, Ebikers? Thanks for having me, Fernando. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'm a YouTube e-biker. Been doing this for about going on 5 years now, I think. And rides, reviews, mods, that's kind of what my channel's all about. And just enjoying that e-bike life, you know?
I love it because, and I'm super excited because, like I mentioned, your channel was one of the first channels that I found, and the more I watch your content, and the more that I learned about you, I'm like, man, we have a lot in common. Again, our age, our passion for e-bikes. You run a business, I run a business. You hustle on your bike, I hustle on my bike, so we had a lot of stuff in common. And I, with the exception of, like, I'm always, or people, like, I feel I'm always like on crack cocaine. I'm always on a big high, and you're really mellow. So it's, I was like, yeah, I need to be a little bit more like him and not be so strung up as I always am, because I probably live longer if I can mellow the hell down. So
I'm definitely pretty chill. That's my personality, you know? It's
yeah,
works for me.
and it's like I said, it's one of the reasons why I like your channel, because your the way you explain things, it's very easy to understand. You know, when you're talking about the bike itself, it's very easy to understand. I have a tendency to talk super fast, which is why I put captions on all my videos so people at least see what I'm saying. So
Yeah. I'm starting to do that now, too.
so let's go back, Chris, and tell me what got you into e-bikes in the first place.
Well, I had a mountain bike. It was actually a folding mountain bike from a company called Montague. And during COVID, it was kind of always like 10 years old. I was thinking about getting a new one. So I started looking at other mountain bikes again. I was like, oh, I mean, I came across e-bikes, you know, online, whatever. And let me try an e-bike. Let me see what that's all about, right? Maybe I'll like it. So I went on YouTube, found Jeremiah McIntosh. He's the first channel I ever saw. So he kind of inspired me a bit. And he was doing videos on the electric XPs. And I bought one of those. I bought an electric XP 1.0 for my first e-bike. And as I rode that for like 6 months, and it was like, oh, I was watching Jeremiah's channel itself, and I was like, I can do this. Like, I'm a podcaster in my day job and things like that, and let me see if I can make some money with this. So yeah, I took that e-bike. I pretty much milked it for every piece of content I could. Channel. And you know, I was doing everything on the e-bike. I had a video where I was doing like how much stuff could I fit in the handlebar. Like, I had like, you know, a dozen different accessories on the handlebar. That was the handlebar challenge video I did, whatever. But yeah, that was my first e-bike. That kind of got it all started, and really inspired me.
Yeah, because you actually have been in the content creation with e-bikes for a long time. I mean, surprisingly, you said 5 years, right? 5 to 6 years. Yeah, that's longer than most. Because I'm trying to think back who's been in longer, and I think it's probably just a few that I can think of. It's probably only Ben, but he started really with mountain bikes, not e-bikes. And
There's
maybe,
Tail Happy. He's been around for a while. Mike from Electric Revolution. I think he's on like 10 years now. Actually,
yeah,
I don't,
but
I don't
Mike,
know. I don't know what his channel was in the beginning, but yeah,
yeah,
a lot of channels have morphed into e-bikes,
yes,
which is
yes.
interesting.
Yeah, because Mike has been around for a while, but only, I would say only in the last 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, that it morphed into e-bikes, because he was more of a all sorts of tech, electric tech stuff,
Okay.
uh, in the beginning. But Matt from Tail Happy TV, he definitely has been around for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And then Micah Toll from E-Bike School, his channel he's got 4,000 subs, so he's been doing this for I think a pretty long time as well.
Yeah, yes. But anyways, you definitely have been around the game for a while, and which is more reasons why I wanted you on, so you can talk about your experience on it. Um, so and again, just to recap, prior to that, because I know you run a business. What's your business?
I run a little media company that covers the HR and recruiting space, so I'm kind of a reporter, if you will. Cover events, things like that. I have a podcast around recruiting technology, and it's called RegTech Media. If you guys want to check it out, but I do, YouTube. I have a channel for that as well, where I talk to software vendors and recruiters, things like that, about how they use technology to hire talent. And I write a lot, a podcast. I do some consulting for some of the vendors on the marketing side. So got my hands in a lot of little pots here.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so unlike a lot of people, because I was just talking to JB360 as well, and he like had no background in content creation. He had no background in builds or e-bikes, and just kind of fell into it, which is interesting. And it makes total sense now that you do have a podcast background, because
I got the podcast mic right here.
yeah, and you, because like I said, your videos are phenomenal. You have the voice for it, like I've already talked about. So it's pretty cool that you have that background. You bringing that expertise into the e-bike world. But
Yeah, it's a natural evolution for me. It wasn't starting from scratch. Essentially, I was already a content creator in a business sense. So
yeah, which is cool, because that leads me to the question of why e-bikes then? Why did out of all other avenues to go to, why the e-bike niche?
yeah, originally I started my channel actually doing like kayaking and fishing videos. Just that's why I call it crisscross, just crossing places and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just got sucked into e-bikes, man. It was just like once I got in that e-bike, it's like it's a whole new world, man. And it's so liberating riding these things. I've seen more of my state than I've ever had before. The area I've ridden all across the country when I travel and stuff. If I travel for work, I always try and stay an extra day and do like an e-bike tour or whatever. Done like Red Rocks in Las Vegas out there. There's a great e-bike tour out there. I've done one in Nashville as well. So it's addicting, man. It's no other way to describe it. Once you get on one, it's like, and I started a group as well here in Connecticut called Connecticut E-Bike Owners. So we started doing meetups, and that really also helped as well. So I have a community now around this. We meet up once a month in the warmer months to do e-bike rides, have lunch, have lunch, hang out. So I'm just trying to live that e-bike life as much as possible these days.
No, that's phenomenal, because I am in the same boat, right? I've been a cyclist all my life, so wherever I travel, my mode of transportation has always been a bike. But as I got older, and as I wanted to explore more and not show up at places soaking wet from sweat, right? I got introduced to e-bikes, and so like you, I have another channel, which is for my real estate company, my travel company, and my favorite mode of transportation, and how I tell people when they travel how they should see the world is through either an e-bike, an electric scooter, or some kind, or even a regular pedal bike, right? Something other than a car. And the reason I say that is because I put travel packages together for a lot of people, and I forget the majority of people, they're going to get in a car, and when I get feedback from my clients, I'm like, oh, did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? And the answer is always no. And the reason being, I'm looking at it from my lens, and my lens has always been from a bike perspective, because you do see a lot more of the world when
Yes.
you're on a bike, and today you can also do it on an electric scooter, because every major city, especially in Europe, will have an electric scooter you can rent and go explore. So I'm glad that you also found that, because I agree with you. I think it's liberating. I think it's a true form of freedom by being able to get on that bike. And I'm not even going to touch the health benefits on it right now. We can discuss it in a little bit. But it is a true eye opener and does really open the world for more people when you do see and travel the world on an e-bike. And I'm glad you take advantage of that when you travel and you rent one, go on these tours. That's pretty cool for me, and thank you for sharing that, because I need more people to really understand that.
Yeah. I was out. I ran out, did a ride on Wednesday before Thanksgiving there, and I did a route to this Putnam Park. It's a Revolutionary War era park in Connecticut, and I happened to discover along the way an abandoned road which I had never known about. So I took that trail back, and I was like, "Wow, this is awesome! This is why I ride e-bikes, to discover stuff like this, and explore." And it's that exploration aspect of it is definitely part of the hook,
Yeah, I can't agree more. I mean, it's even in your own town, like you just
Yeah.
found a road that you haven't discovered. I've been doing a lot of writing ever since I started this channel, uh, locally in Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, and all that. And I've been finding areas that I didn't even know existed. I found a park that has been there forever that I didn't, and it's literally like maybe 5 minutes from my house. Didn't even know was there. But I would have never found it had I not been on an e-bike.
Exactly.
So that's cool. Let's go behind the scenes for a second. People see your final product on there, but they don't really see the testing, the notes, the riding on cold weather and hot weather, cameras falling all over the place. So talk a little bit about that, the process that you go through when you're reviewing a bike.
Okay. Yeah, good question. So, yeah, I'll get a bike. I'll go on the product page, and basically I write down my notes for it. The power. I have kind of like a set, feature list I'll go through on a video, whether it's just an intro, talk about the overview of the bike, describe the price, colors, things like that. Then I'll move on to the power, the motor and the battery, get out those specs, talk about the sizing of it as well. I always make sure to include sizing in my videos, because the number one mistake people make when buying an e-bike is they buy the wrong size e-bike. Right? I've seen it too often. So I make sure that I talk about that in my videos. I'm a 6-foot guy, so I'm on that cusp of, like, sometimes it's too small, sometimes it's too big, but that's important as well. So I create a little note sheet there with all the specs and everything I want to go over. And then I'll take that out and shoot B-roll first, usually. That's kind of my cadence. I'll get my drone out maybe sometimes and have it follow me for B-roll, things like that, or do a quick intro. I try and mix it up a little bit so that I'm not creating the exact same video over and over again. I want to keep it a little bit fresh as far as just the overall cadence of it and topics in there and what it looks like in the final product. So, but I'll do the B-roll first. That's usually my opener on the videos. And what I'm doing now too is I'm using Suno, which is an AI music service. So I'm creating a lot of custom songs for each bike now, which I'm getting a lot of positive feedback on.
I'm one of them it's one of the questions that I have on there, because, and I'm glad you mentioned the product. Go ahead, do me a favor, repeat what the app you're using.
Yeah, it's called Suno, suno.com, SUNO, and it's like $10 a month. And I go on there, I say, okay, just give me a classic rock type video or type song about this new e-bike with all-wheel drive and dual batteries, right? I'm gonna create a song on that in like 2 seconds, and it gives you two songs to start with, and you can then modify it from there. But it is so cool, and so I was using like premiumbeat.com for a while and paying for music. That was good, but with this $10 a month Suno, it's like I'm never going back to any of those things. It's awesome. And the brands love it as well. And the viewers they wonder, hey, where'd you get that song, man? So I have to put song links in my videos now for a lot of these tunes I'm making, which is pretty cool.
No, because that's one of the questions I wrote down because the last video I saw, I'm like, I actually started to listen. I'm like, wait a second, that's a
They're catchy,
customized
man.
song.
Like I find myself like, you know, repeating them in my head and stuff because they're so catchy.
Yeah, so catchy. I'm like, holy smokes. So I will be I'm hoping you're getting some kind of kickback because I'm definitely signing up for that service.
I got to commit. I'll send you the affiliate link for that. So yeah,
Yeah, send it to me because I'm definitely signing up for that. That is super cool.
that's a game changer, man. I tell you, I'm always using that stuff now in most of my videos.
You know, with YouTube, the biggest thing is the music, right? You don't want to get a copyright strike. You want to keep your videos monetized, you know, and it's tough. For example, for us, on the short form doesn't matter, but on the long form, we're constantly getting told, hey, now this song is not monetized. We have to take it down and we have to go back and change it. So this is freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's totally a game changer. When I was using Premium Beat too, I was even getting like stuff on there. Like even though you own that song, you can use it. I was still getting copyright stuff. I had
Yeah.
to go and do the dispute. No, I won all the disputes, but it was a pain in the ass. Now with AI, like every song is original, so it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So when you um, do you have a criteria of deciding which company to work with, or do you work with anyone that they'll send you a bike?
These days, no, I definitely turn down a lot of bikes, particularly if it's a new brand I've never worked with before. If it's a TV bike that I know no one's going to care about, I turn those down pretty much. I like to work with established brands. Do a lot of work with these guys here, Electric, since they kind of help me get started. And I've got every one of their e-bikes, and I'm pretty tight with those guys. They make great products as well, so I have no problem touting them. But yeah, I try and do unique stuff these days, and keep the cheap stuff to a minimum. Sometimes it's about timing too. I might need a bike for content. I might take it where I normally wouldn't. But right now, like I got 3 in the queue through December 10th, I think. I got one more bike on the way from Pucky Puppy. That's my last one of the year because I have a bunch of other stuff I want to do
Right.
during the winter months. And just stuff that I want to do, right, versus stuff I have to do. That's always that's the big challenge now with an established channel, where I have to basically. I think I did 49 e-bikes this year, Fernando.
Holy smokes, really?
Yeah, and I did 40 the year before that, so it's increasing every year. And I think Tail Happy said he did like 100.
Yeah.
Which that's like I don't think I could do 100. I would drive me crazy if I had to do 2 a week.
But to be fair to you, is Tell Happy does this full time. That's his full
Yeah,
time
that's true.
gig.
Yeah.
So he can do it just like Scott.
If I was full time, I still want to do like rides and mods and just interesting stuff about e-bikes as well.
No,
I never want to just a review channel.
Yeah, and I'm with you because so I asked JB this same question that I'm going to ask you now, but going back to Matt and like Scott Hardesty from Chicago, this is what they do full time, and they only do reviews, right? I'm like you. I think that's too mundane for me just to do reviews.
It gets too repetitive over time,
Yeah.
With things. I do get tired of doing reviews sometimes, right?
Right.
It depends on if it's just a cheap, basic bike. Yeah, it's not exactly my favorite type of video to make, but at this point, it's part of my income, and I think over time, I'll be full time eventually in a couple of years. But until then, it's definitely a challenge.
Sorry for this brief interruption, but if you are enjoying this interview, do me a big favor and hit the like button. Comment below, tell me where you're watching from, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And lastly, do me a big favor and watch this short video from our sponsor. If you are a short-term rental operator or you're planning to get into the short-term rental game,
this is a visual hook. I really don't get views. I don't know why everybody's growing in Instagram except me. Well, did you set up your Instagram account for growth?
your iPhone can compete with a professional photographer.
I am Lorena Martinez. I'm an expert in digital marketing, content creation, and engagement.
Yeah, so along those same lines, because there is a balance, right? The stuff that you want to produce and stuff that your audience wants to see. What do you think is out of all the videos you produce, what resonates the most with your audience?
That's a great question. In the beginning, anything I did with electric was always my top videos. Like I could guarantee 1, 2, 3K views on that thing pretty easily. These days, what resonates are the fast e-bikes. They get the most likes, they get the most clicks, and the most views by far. So I just got my first 72-volt bike recently, the Escape Ranger.
Escape, yeah.
And I took it on Wednesday and for a shakedown ride. And yeah, those things get really. It is all. You can start a channel tomorrow. If you have a fast e-bike, you're going to get views on that thing, right? That's what sells essentially. These fast e-bikes now versus the regular normal type of stuff. So that's what I'm seeing just from a trending standpoint at this point.
No, and I agree. I mean, I'm all about speed. So since I started the channel, I wanted faster and faster bikes, and I got a bunch of 72-volt bikes: the Mini Goat, the Magician, the Wires, and then the mods that I did. And I asked JB360 that same question, and for him, and the same thing when I interviewed Tommy, the Eat By guy, Mr. E, for them, what resonates the most, and what I noticed on my channel when I did a collab with them, are the mods. People like to see the builds, and you're right, but I agree. I think the correlation is the speed, right? Because I think
speed sells.
Yeah, speed sells, man. It sells a lot. Because I noticed on your channel, the Ranger's your first 72-volt bike, right?
Yeah. You know, I traditionally been. I like to pedal.
Me too.
That's kind of why I got into e-biking.
Me too.
To extra exercise and just go farther, explore more. But I do enjoy pedaling. Right, I want that experience. I want to move my legs after a long day of work or whatever, you know. But yeah, I also like going fast too. That has its place, you know, in a riding experience. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in the same boat. As I mentioned, I've been a cyclist my entire life, so pedaling is part of my DNA, which is one of the reasons why I really loved the Wired Scout and the Magician, is because the torque sensors on those will allow you to go super fast while still pedaling. I mean, I believe in my review of the Scout, I think while pedaling and feeling a lot of tension on the pedals, I think I was still going about 50, 51, 52 miles an hour and cranking, right? Because I need that. Which is one of the reasons why, even though the Mini Goat is my favorite bike right now, there's no exercise. I mean, that's just
Yeah, that's a throttle only bike for sure.
Yeah, that's a throttle only bike. Even though I still pedal, but I'm not getting it. It's minimal, and I mentioned it in my review. I'm not getting any exercise other than the fact that I'm moving my legs.
Yeah.
But it's not really any real exercise, unlike some of the other bikes that I have. But so I'm with you on the pedaling side, and I get a bike. Let me rephrase that. I want a bike, right? I don't necessarily want a motorcycle. So,
Right.
although I like the speed and I need the speed, and we'll touch as to why I need speed in a second, but I still need to have a bike. So, like right now, the bike that I am most excited to get, that I'm waiting on to get here, is the Mini from Magician, the Mini Alpha.
The Alpha Mini.
Because
Yeah, I'm curious about that bike too. It's because I've lately I've been saying like I like 20x4 fat tires.
Me
That's
too.
my favorite format of e-bike because I think that I'm kind of over the 26x4s from a fast standpoint. I just think they're too big. They're less maneuverable than a 20x4 is. So my Escape Ranger now, to me, it's the perfect fit as a 6-foot guy. And I think it's more agile, and I think it's a little bit safer too. Those big, I had the E-Cells 5-star, whatever. That's a big bike, man. It's if I was like 6'5", 220, I mean, that might be a better bike for me. But I think at my size, my weight, 20x4 is the best fit, for my frame and my riding style.
No, and I agree. So, and it's funny because when Matt from Happy Tail TV reviewed the Magician, and I already had the Magician. Well, actually, not originally, because he originally reviewed it, and then he put out a couple of other videos. But on one of the videos, I had received it, and it's a huge bike, just like the Wired. It's a huge bike, and I'm 5'7". So, but I remember writing a comment on his channel that finally he has a bike that actually fits him, because he's a tall.
For him, yeah, perfect bike for him. He's like 6'5" or something.
He's 6'5". He is tall. So that bike is perfect for him. Not perfect for me. I'm 5'7". It's heavy. Yeah. It's big. I tell the story when I first got the Wired Scout and I'm doing the testing on it, how powerful it is, because there's something to be said of very powerful torquey bikes, right? Some people like to. Let me ask you this question before I go into it. Do you prefer top end speed or torque on a bike? If you had to choose one, would you take torque or top end speed?
That's good. Let's see. I guess I would take torque because I think it's more fun, number one. And I use the throttle like crossing the street, things like that. So I want to get across quickly, but I don't want enough torque where it's it's going to jolt me off the bike too. So maybe I'm gonna say top. I'll say top speed.
Yeah, see, I take top speed for that, for what you just finished saying, and I give the story with my Wired Scout. My Wired Scout, me not knowing better, right? I knew, every review says how torquey and how powerful that bike is, but like everyone else, sometimes you hear it, but you don't really hear it. So I went, and because I'm a speed junkie, I went and set it to the fastest and torqueest modes on the bike. Big mistake. I get on the bike, I'm riding it, and I'm doing 50 miles an hour. I'm coming up to a red light, so I slow down, and right as I'm about to put my foot down, the light changes green. Made the biggest mistake of gunning the throttle. Next thing I know, I'm on my back, and the bike is gone. That's how torquey that bike is. You're definitely going to get bucked like a wild horse or a wild bull if you don't tame that bike down. So
yeah, my buddy Tyler's got a Talaria XXX, so I tried that once, and as soon as I hit that throttle, it just went through me. I came right off the bike. The bike dumped on the leaves or whatever, but yeah, it flew right off me, basically.
Yeah.
So
So it taught me a lesson and one of the lessons that it taught me is that I don't like those super torquey bikes, and I want that smooth start, but I do want that top
This
end
is the
speed.
key. Yeah.
So let's talk about speed, because speed has been a controversial issue lately with bikes. And then you in Connecticut specifically, or in your area, there's been a lot of incidents, or not a lot. There's been incidents that have been publicized lately, and as a result, you guys had some regulation change. Can you speak about what's happening in your area related to regulations?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of kids on e-bikes now, and so I had a kid in my town actually get killed this year. He was riding his e-bike. I don't know what kind it was, but he was riding his e-bike on a main street, and he crossed over somehow to the other lane and got hit, and he died. He was, I think, was 15, and to me, that's pretty young to ride an e-bike. I mean, you shouldn't be on Main Street if you're a kid like that, right?
Right.
Our town's not very, bike friendly. Of course, most towns aren't, unless you live in a big city. So that's an issue I've always hated. But yeah, it's so there's a safety issue being talked about a lot in the on the media and things like that. So they just came out with the new laws. So you got to be 16 to ride an e-bike, which I think is fair. You have to wear a helmet, of course. Everyone has to wear a helmet. If you have so there's class 1, 2, and 3, and now they created another class, what I call a class 4 almost, but it's called a motor-driven cycle. So if your e-bike is 750 watts, over 750 watts, but below 3,700 watts, it's now considered a motor-driven cycle. And the requirements are a helmet and a license, driver's license. Okay, so my Escape Ranger falls into that. Anything 1,000 watts or higher, basically my test waves, those kind of bikes. Those are all motor-driven cycles now, and they have to have also some of the things like the brake lights, things like that, headlights, tail lights, things like that. So that's come out now. But you're seeing a lot more of, I just watched a video. There was a kid in Massachusetts who got killed. He was 13, riding an electric dirt bike on the road. And like, that stuff like that's happening. That's what's causing all these rules essentially and regulations around this stuff. So it's a lot of problems with the kids riding these things. So parents, if you're listening, you got to be careful what you buy your kids. If you're going to buy them an e-bike, buy them a class 2 e-bike or less, class 1 or 2. That's it. Otherwise, this stuff is happening. They're getting killed on the road. So it's pretty scary if you're a parent of a teen like that who wants an e-bike. I my neighbor's kid. So I do e-bike assembly as well in the area. So I've assembled a lot of e-bikes for people. My neighbors contacted me. Hey, our son wants an e-bike. He was 13. So they got him a Mac Fox, e-moped style. It only went 25.
25, yeah. That goes 25 miles an hour, yeah.
But so first thing was he ran out of battery on it, so the dad had to go pick him up across town somewhere. And then he also crashed with it a bit, and he hurt his wrist or something like that. And that was it for him. Like, the parents was like, no, you're done with e-bikes here. You're back to your pedal bike. But thankfully, I was really worried that the kid got killed. It wasn't somebody I built a bike for,
Yeah.
Would have felt even more awful.
It's sad, but and I have a really love-hate relationship with what's happening right now in terms of regulation, because we live in a society today that we easily want to blame someone or something, and almost always it's the thing, not the individual.
It's an overreaction, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think. So let's use incidents with e-bikes, right? When we compare the incidents that are happening with e-bikes to regular bikes, there's no comparison. Every single day, a kid gets injured on a regular bike. Every day. But
it's like even great. I just saw a stat, which I'll give you. Something like I was watching a California news station. They were talking about e-bike injuries versus regular bike injuries. It was 9 times. So bicycle injuries, there was like 44,000 of them last year in California. And there were about, I think, like maybe 4,500 e-bike injuries. So there's a massive difference there in terms of just overall injuries. Now, the e-bike injuries were a little bit worse they resulted in worse injuries.
Injuries, right?
The overall number of incidents, it was pedal bicycles by far.
By far. And in terms of fatality, by far. And in Florida, so in my past life, I was in government, I was in law enforcement. I retired after 27 years, but I can tell you that there's two primary reasons why people get hurt on bikes. Number one is they get hit by the side because they're not being visible. So they'll get hit sideways. But number two is getting rear-ended. And the reason they're getting rear-ended is because they're too slow, and Florida is not bike friendly. Just like you mentioned, many communities are not bike friendly communities. Hence why I'm a big proponent of making sure that the bike has the capacity to go fast enough that the chances of you getting rear-ended are reduced. So, for example, the number one speed, or the speed in which bikes get rear-ended, are people riding a bike that are going between 15 miles an hour or less. Especially today, because there's a lot of distracted drivers. They're doing 40, 50 miles an hour. And if you're doing 15 miles an hour, they're coming on you way too quickly. And by the time they can react, they're hitting you.
Yep.
When you're going almost as fast as traffic, you don't have to go 50 miles an hour on the bike. But if you're going 30, 35, you greatly reduce the chances of getting rear-ended in the car. So for me, it's a safety issue. And
totally. And having a faster bike, I can maintain that proper distance between the car back and the car in front of me too.
Exactly.
So that I'm not in any danger if I was on a slower bike or a pedal bike.
100%. I mean, that's so, and I got into a debate with someone and I forget what channel he was from, but he's against. He's like, what's that girl?
Electrified Latina?
That girl. Yeah. like totally against 72 volt e-bikes. And I was having this debate with him on him because he doesn't believe that any bike should go faster than 20 miles an hour. And I explained to him, I'm like, in Florida, we have cycling, even though we're not cycle friendly in terms of roads, we have a huge community of cyclists in Florida, lots. And I told him, I said, do you realize that every weekend in South Florida, the average group ride, the average speed of a group ride is 25 miles an hour. And that's a pedal bike. So if you're against speed, then you have to be against all bikes, because all bikes have the capacity to go that fast, yep, right? Or faster than your 20 mile an hour limit. And again, I'm of the belief
I've been passed by many a pedal biker on my e-bike. So
yeah, I'm of the belief that we shouldn't be placing blame on the instrument. We should be placing blame on individual people. You talked about parents. As a parent myself, and now as a grandfather, I am not buying my grandchild a fast e-bike. Not until he's 16 or older and has taken a motorcycle course.
Right.
So they can understand the difference, right? You can understand how to maneuver and handle that type of vehicle. But you get a kid on an e-bike, and instead of blaming the parents for the kid being on an e-bike, we want to blame the e-bike. And that's not where blame should go.
No, definitely not. It's all about behavior,
Yeah, exactly. So, what's the? I don't know if we touched on it. What's the? Oh yeah, we did the actual regulations there. Here's what's interesting too about regulations. We were just talking about this with JB360 in New York City, how they put that ban, but that ban only applies for people riding in the bike lanes. So if you're in that bike lane, you shouldn't be going faster than 50 miles an hour. Something that I 100% agree with, right? But they interviewed him and a couple of other e-bikers in that area, influencers in that area, were interviewing cops. And even the cops told them, listen, if you're on the road Don't be riding 10 miles an hour on the road because you're going to get run over. Even they understand that you should go a little faster if you have to ride on the road, if you have no choice.